Good afternoon. It's time for some more baking. Today we're going to be making a Bakewell tart. Let's get straight to it, shall we? For the pastry, we have 175 grams of plain flour, 60 grams of salted butter, and 50 grams of white vegetable fat. You could use all butter or all vegetable fats, but this is what I like to use. And we have 2 egg yolks. For the filling, we have 125 grams of sugar, 125 grams of ground almonds, 125 grams of salted butter, which we're going to melt later, 2 large eggs. We also have some raspberry jam and some almond extract. We're going to use half a teaspoon of that. The first thing we are going to do is make our rich pastry. We're going to put our flour into a large bowl, like this one. And we're going to go in with our butter and our vegetable fat. Now we're going to rub the butter and the vegetable fat into the flour until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Next, we're going to go in with our beaten egg yolks. That's what we're looking for. A nice, soft, pliable dough. Now we're going to pop our dough onto some grease-proof paper. We're going to wrap it. You could use cling film if you don't have any baking parchment. Now we're going to pop it into the fridge for 30 minutes to chill. Or you could pop it into the freezer for about 15 minutes. Just don't forget it's in there. Here's one I made earlier. I'm just kidding, this is the same one. 30 minutes have passed. Went by quickly, didn't it? Time flies when you're having fun. Next, we're going to put our dough on a lightly floured surface. And we're going to roll it out so that it fits a 9-inch flan tin or pastry dish or whatever you call these. There we go. We have lined said tin. Next, we're going to take a fork and prick the surface all over, like this. Now we're going to blind bake it. Blind baking simply means baking it without the filling. What we're going to do is put some baking parchment into the middle, like this. And then we're going to weigh it down with some uncooked rice. You could use uncooked pasta, or you could use ceramic baking beans, if you have some. I should invest in some of those. They're very fancy. Now we're going to pop it into the oven for about 15 minutes. After 10 minutes, we'll probably take this off. There we go. Our pastry case is nicely dried out. There'll be no soggy bottoms here. I gave it 10 minutes with the baking parchment and then 5 minutes without the baking parchment. And of course I popped the rice back into the jar. We can save that for next time. Right, now we can move on to the filling. But first, we're going to cover the base with raspberry jam. I've got about 3 or 4 tablespoons here. You can use any jam you like, of course, but raspberry is my preference. There we go. Now for the filling. For the filling, we are going to combine our ground almonds, our sugar, our beaten eggs, our melted butter, and our almond extract. We're going to gently stir it together until it's nicely combined. And there we go. That's what we're looking for. It's a bit like liquid gold, isn't it? Smells absolutely delightful. Smells like marzipan. Next, we're going to reintroduce our pastry case. And we're going to let our almond mixture gently cascade over our sea of jam. And there we go. We are going to be putting glace icing on top of this later. But if you don't want icing, at this point you could cover the surface in flaked almonds. Right, we're going to pop this into the oven now for about 30 minutes at 160 fan or 180 non-fan until the filling is firm and golden brown. Fresh out of the oven. We'll wait for this to cool down completely and then we can ice this bad boy. In the meantime, we are going to make our glace icing. For the icing, we have 125 grams of icing sugar, which I've sieved, some vanilla extract, and some water. I'm going to go in with a few drops of vanilla extract. Quite a few, actually. I like it very vanilla-y. You could use almond extract, but I like a contrasting flavour. Could use lemon juice. Now we're going to put in enough water to create a spreadable icing. That's what we're looking for. Not too runny, not too thick. You want it thick enough to coat the back of a spoon. Like that. Now that our Bakewell tart has fully cooled down, we can delicately drizzle our glace icing over the top. Now that we've allowed our icing to spread all over the top of our tarts, we can go about decorating it. For the middle, we have a glace cherry, of course. What's a Bakewell tart about a glace cherry? Next, we have 30 grams of flaked almonds, which we have lightly toasted. We're just going to delicately sprinkle them over the top of our icing, like this. And here is the end result. Time for the taste test. Oh wow, that is absolutely splendid. Extremely almondy. Yes, very nice indeed. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, cheerio.